Good morning, sir.
Morning.
How you doing, man?
I am well. I'm well. Yeah. It's been a fast month. I feel like this month's like speeding by, but I'm doing good.
It's almost the new year.
Yeah, it's getting there.
You're wearing a hoodie, and I'm assuming 70-degree weather. Why?
No, it's 40 degrees out here. I didn't know it was
In
gonna get.
LA?
Yes, I'm pissed. I'm not happy about this at
That
all.
don't even make sense.
I was hoping that this will never happen. Ever since I've gotten to New York, the one thing I can never like get used to was the cold. I just have Jamaican skin.
Got you, got you. You're wearing my favorite number.
Oh, the infinity.
Oh, I thought that was the number eight since you're in purple.
It
Eight,
is number
Kobe.
8. It is a
Okay,
Kobe. It's actually a Kobe hoodie for after he passed away. They put the
really?
ink sideways so he lives forever.
That's smart. Trying to
Yeah.
get that Kobe number one over Jordan. Fun
Yeah,
fact, I actually did a whole profile on Kobe in grad school.
like psychologically,
Yes, sir.
his
I will
mentality.
never share it though, because he's not here.
Uh-huh.
So there's no need to bring up the information that or my hypothesis, but it was very interesting studying Kobe.
Yeah.
Amazing
I,
guy.
I love people like Kobe and like Michael Jordan, like their obsession to hone in on like one thought and like constantly like work on just that like that one thought or that one obsession. I think is really beautiful. Just to like progress yourself, like changing your own mentality for progression is really like a fascinating thing to see.
Yeah. And the discipline was next level.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like I feel like a lot of people don't have discipline. Like I actually thought they did. Um, I think it's help. I think it's help when it comes to like being productive or growing to have
Mhm.
like, a certain amount of discipline within yourself. Like even with anything, when I find that like I tell myself like I'm gonna do something today, and then I don't do it, like that lack of discipline like makes me feel uneasy and uncomfortable.
And that's why you're destined for greatness. You're willing to do what the 90th percentile is not willing to do.
Yeah. Speaking of uncomfortable, I started thinking about how since I've been here and I would like look at certain things. So like when I'm driving, you can see like the mountain range. I'm in
Hmm.
the valley, so you see like a lot of mountains. You can see like the clouds just being as clear as they are, clouds being big, just like the scenery here. It's been so comforting. And I thought about something that my boy told me because he lives in Miami. He was like how the days go by quickly when you have like a comfortable space to be in,
Hmm.
because when you're in a space of like a lot of pressure or like stress, you tend to think about that shit all the time, or you think about your stresses and stuff like that, and it makes time slow down because you're always constantly running with your mind. But when you sit down and relax, next thing you know, like an hour just passed by, hour and a half, and I'll be sitting here doing whatever leisurely every day, and I'm like, damn, it's 1 o'clock already, like the morning just flew by. And I just realized that it made me think, and I brought this up to Mila, that in New York, whenever I left New York, I always feel like a little bit more like at peace. Or when I would like go back home to Jamaica, I was like, wow, I feel so much better. And then now that I'm out here, I thought like I knew I was gonna be under some level of stress, like with
The
simulating to like LA
transition.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
But while I was here and like the stressful high stress depression passed, and I'm like, huh, I don't feel this like
Heaviness.
natural pressure, heaviness like I did in
Mhm.
New York. And it made me think like if I was meant to like even be in that environment, or was it New York, or was it just like I have so many stresses there that cause a lot of pressure and angst on my body, and um it's what was I gonna say? It's just causes like feel of like, oh, this causes a feel of weight on me and on my mentality. And now that I'm out here, like I have things to stress about and I just don't feel it.
But you're also surrounded with love, support,
Environment. So now
acknowledgement.
yeah, so I'm wondering like, is it just the environment of New York? Is it the support and love that I was surrounded by, or is it like the mix of both, or does one outweigh the other? Like which environment, like your family environment or your social environment or your physical like city environment? And then I was thinking about like how do these things like weigh down on you in your like day-to-day life, like being stressed in New York, being stressed in Miami, and being stressed in LA are like
Very different.
feel exactly.
I think that you're speaking of the concept nature versus nurture.
Okay.
Right? Nurture is the space that you're currently part of, how supportive it is, how loving it is, how easygoing it is. And you also have the nature component, like you're out in LA, there's trees all around you. The temperature, the weather's a lot better. There are mountains, which reminds you of back home. Lifestyle is not as fast paced as New York. And just the presence of the sun alone and giving you more days and giving you a better experience in nature contributes to how you feel now. Right. Like, so those that are currently dealing with SAD, which is seasonal affective depression, one of the main reasons that that's happening is that the daylight savings. At 4 o'clock in New York is dark as hell. Right. So there's less sun. We're spending less time in sun, so we have to supplement with vitamin D. You're getting that regularly.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of the things in New York that whenever I would go get like just checkups or whatever, my doctor would tell me that I'm low in vitamin D, and because of my job, I was mostly like in the tunnels or not out in the sun. Then it would be easy for me to like be vitamin D deficient. And then when it comes around like this time, where it like gets dark earlier on the East Coast and cold, it's just like this is just an environment made for sadness.
And I also think that you're speaking to something that most men, we don't talk about. That's joy. I think lately in our interactions, you've been very joyful. Right? It's more than happiness, it's joyful. It's being able to be a man, but engage in childlike behaviors and have fun doing that. Right?
Yeah. One of the things not one of the things I've always, my personality is joyful. So whenever I'm not in that, or I'm sad, or I'm outside of anything like with happiness, it's very apparent on my face and like on my body. So I've been thinking about like how I look and how I feel now that I've been like in this different space.
Okay. Now, has this version of Orlando has gone back to revisit Little Orlando, Little O?
Yeah. And not the way that I thought. So ever since we had that conversation about like inner child, which has been frustrating at times, because now that I'm in talk therapy and I'm like putting a lot of like intention on it and learning these things, whenever something comes up, I start thinking about like deeper. Like I started thinking like, is this because I'm traumatized by something? Is this something to do with my inner child? Did this something affect me while I'm reacting this way? And it becomes frustrating because it's just like now I'm thinking about all these things that I wouldn't have thought about if I didn't start therapy. But on the other end of that, whenever it comes to like growth or overcoming something, or like bettering myself, when it comes to like the whole inner child, been like very helpful when I think about something good and connecting it with my past, because I am in therapy. So when the bad thoughts come up, they're bad, but the good thoughts feel better than the bad thoughts because of therapy. So I say that to say, getting into like the feel and the thought of like, and remembering my inner child came when like I would do things now and I would say like, oh, you know, I've always wanted to do this as a kid, or like things that I would see on TV. So like I would a big thing for me, because we didn't have the money to like really travel or be outside or go out often, I saw the world through the eyes of like movies and like TV shows.
Yeah.
So I would see like families sitting together. I didn't really watch the Cosby's a lot, but like any black family shows that they would sit together and like they would have like family dinner, like the Fresh Prince or like shit like that. So now when me and Mila cook, and it's all three of us, me, her, and the daughter, when we're sitting here and like we're eating, and I would tell them like, I've always wanted to do this as a kid, like have
Oh,
family dinners where we could like talk about how our day was or just like joke around and things like that. And now that I'm here, like, and I would mention it, and I'm like, wow, I remember as a kid that I wanted to do this, or I saw this movie and I wanted to do this ever since I was a kid. And now that I'm an adult, I have the control to implement that myself.
yes, sir.
And doing it actually like how I wanted to, I am able to like say like, oh, I want to do this as a kid. And then it makes me remember that there was a time where I was watching something and I was inspired to do it in the future. And now I'm able to do it. And instead of having memories that is connected to like traumatic experience, like it usually is, I can now solely remember this one moment where I want to do this one thing in the future because it's something I enjoy without it being connected to something that was bad surrounding that time period.
So
That was
you
a
are
mouthful.
rewriting your experiences. Right?
Um,
Like
yeah,
so
yeah,
as
yeah.
a child you were deprived of a number of things. And now
Mhm.
you're in a position where you can change that, where you can rewire that. Right.
Yeah,
So instead of focusing on what you didn't have access to, you're actually creating that access, partaking in that, and taking that memory to help you heal from your previous experiences where you were deprived of.
right. And I feel like it's a little bit easier for me to like grow from it because I don't hold any resentment. It's not like oh, I'm having this moment, this family time, this family dinner time in this moment, and I'm resentful to my parents because they didn't have these moments with me. I just wanted the moment, whether it happened when I was a kid or happened when I'm an adult or happened like further down in life. I just wanted the moment. So it's like sitting there having family time as an adult doesn't make me feel resentful for not having it as a kid. I'm just happy just to have it, period. And that's all I want. I just wanted to have it, period. So it's easy for me to grow and feel like, oh, I can have these moments now. And then instead of having that empty void of wanting, now
Mhm.
I have it and it's filled. I can grow and be happier now and
And
have
how does that feel?
relieving. It's relieving. It was relieving because it was a realization that I am having these moments and I'm in control in having these moments right now. I'm in control of like my own growth as far as like the traumatic things that's happened to me like as a child. And um
You're the agent of change.
yeah, exactly. I'm the agent of change. And I I can also give this experience to someone that was at my age that wanted it. And I'm not saying like Mila's daughter necessarily like wants it, but this is a positive experience anyway. So now where I may have wanted to be the child to have that reaction, I can now see a child have that reaction, and that is fulfilling for me.
What role does culture played into your experiences as a child, specifically in relation to dinner time?
It's very big. In Black culture already, but in Caribbean culture, yeah, it's very big. And like, say for instance, the one thing that we had was like a Sunday dinner.
Hmm.
Didn't necessarily mean we're eating together as a family, but on Sunday, somebody is definitely cooking.
Yeah.
But it's like it, it's like a I'm giving you food, but it's you should be grateful I'm feeding you, not a I'm feeding you because out of love. And we're gonna sit down, I'm gonna see how you are, and this feels like a family moment. A lot of things that comes with like I guess Caribbean culture is you should be grateful I'm doing this for you, but it feels like I'm burdening you. Like you didn't want to do this, but you're just doing this because I'm here and I need to feel happy that you did it for me. Even though,
Or was that their way of showing love because that's all they know?
well, both of them come together, right? Because it's
Mhm.
like this may be their way of showing love, but they're also letting you know that you need to feel grateful, and it also, and they're coming across as you're a burden to me and I have to feed you and I have to do these things, and this is how I have to show you I love you. It's like, so you don't want to do it, like you're just doing it because it's a necessity, or it's what you're supposed to do.
And
So
that's how you felt like
yeah.
about that.
Oh, a lot of times. A lot of times. But as far as food and like in the culture, it's like we celebrate, we eat. It's a special day, we eat. Like everything is centered around food and food showing a certain amount of love. But when it's not like all the pieces, it's just more so like, oh, here's some food or here's some dinner and I'm supposed to be giving it to you, or it's Sunday, so it's just tradition in the culture to cook this day or cook this way or cook whatever to show how I love you, when it's not like given, or the primary vibe or feel isn't presented with love, then just feels like resentment.
Yeah, and that's tough, huh?
Yeah,
And dealing with that as a child and knowing that it's just a task that's being done versus an act of love.
hmm,
But now seeing how you interact and how you've become the cook in your relationship in your household, wouldn't you say that you being a cook is your way of showing love to your family?
yeah. But I also like present it with intention and love. It's not like I'm cooking because, oh my god, y'all niggas is hungry again. I gotta cook for y'all. It's, hey, I'm cooking and I tried this new thing. How does it taste? Sit down and tell me about your day. After you drink some water, do you want me to make you a special drink with some juice? It's like it's a much different dynamic and feel than what we're used to as like Caribbean children.
Yeah. So you kind of took that one experience where cooking was their way of showing love to some degree, and you added different components to it to make the whole experience to feel like love.
Exactly. But I've only seen this because of watching TV and watching like movies that showed like this is what a happy family cooking child parent dynamic looks like, and then I like look to my left to my reality and I'll see like how that's happening. It was like,
Yeah.
I think I like this one more, and this is
Yeah.
the one that I want.
Yeah. I could
So
imagine.
yeah, so and it's even things like just like going outside and playing, or like Luna wanting to like do things just as a kid, but she may have homework or it's like a little bit after bedtime. It's like, all right, it's fine, we could leeway a little bit more right here just so you can have that fun child experience and memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was heavy, huh? It felt good to share that, huh?
I was holding this shit in as soon because when we had this like dinner, I was like, man, I've always wanted to have like a family dinner, like multiple, if not every day, like multiple times throughout the day. And Mule was just like, oh, look at you, like living out your family dynamics. And then
Um,
Luna looks at me and she goes, "You look like you want to cry. You can cry if you want." I was like, just
you can, and that's okay.
yeah.
You can.
Mhm. So,
Don't
just
skip past this. Take your time, experience this.
yeah,
A lot of emotions to flow through you. That's okay. Relationships are healing.
yeah.
And in what other ways do you find yourself now taking care of your inner child?
Um, I think this is one of the ways. I can't necessarily say I can pinpoint what other ways. And even with the like the family dinner, that one just came as like, huh. Oh, because I've been doing things and saying like, oh, I remember when I did this, and I'm happy I could do this now. I've been doing it, but it's not until that one dinner that I was just like, oh shit, I've been doing this for a while, and I noticed it. So I guess like this is the me realizing it is the first part. So I don't know what other ways, but I'm sure like something is gonna come up.
Okay.
Uh,
Let's think about the way you show affection to Luna. Could you share a little bit on what that looks like?
Um, just yeah, just letting her know she's loved. But now that you say that, there are times where I would think about the way I wasn't shown it.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's just like, all right, let me show you some love. Let me tell you I love you. Let me hug you in a way that like my mom or my dad like didn't hug me. And it's not like a two-hand hug, but sometimes it's like we're walking, I'll just like put my arm like around her.
Yeah.
Just let her know like there's just certain things that certain little things that I would do. And I guess in a way I'm envisioning like myself in this space. And now that I like am the person that can show the love or am the adult that can do it, I guess I am envisioning her in a way where I would have treated myself.
And let's take that a step further. The hugs are not just solely for you to remind her that you love her and giving that to her. They're also your own process of healing yourself,
Yeah,
right? Because the same emotions that you're giving her through these hugs, you're receiving the same. Because she's accepting that bit of connection,
yeah. And
right?
it's not necessarily transactional like for myself, like I'm hugging her to like heal myself. It's I'm hugging,
Unconsciously,
yeah,
it's a dyadic process that's taking place. Yes, you're ensuring that she feels loved, but making her feel loved also make you feel loved.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's the thought behind it is I know at this age where I was as a kid and what I would have liked and what I didn't get. So it's just like let me express that to you because I know something like, do you want to get like you do you want me to make cookies for you or something like a hug or something like an I love you or something like just very simple like do you want to dance or do karaoke together is where I think about where I was at her age and it's what I would have wanted like somebody to say to me, not necessarily like specifically karaoke but just to play with me in like a certain type of way that would make me happy as a child. So for her, I'm thinking, oh, I remember when I was 7 years old. What was I thinking? Where was I? How did I feel? What would I have liked? And then I do that for her. But that can only come from the absence of what I had as a child. So it's just like what we talked about on an earlier meeting where I was saying that like the push for all the nice great things I do comes from this like absence or like this dark place, but now I can use that as a fuel to be like a better father or better parent or a better human or a better person. So that's where the connection of my childhood and how I parent now like come from.
Good point. And I agree, right? But I also wonder, why do you find yourself being what you lacked of or what you were missing versus you just completely doing what you were used to?
One thing that I wanted to do when I was a kid, not necessarily like a kid, like a child, but I knew when I was younger, I wanted to like be different than my parents, specifically my dad, because one of the things that he did was like just have like a bunch of kids from like a bunch of different from four different women. So I was like, all right, that one I definitely got to break that generational curse because I knew my grandfather had like 20 something kids already. So it's just like I could see like the pattern. So I was like, you know what, that one I want to change. So that I guess spiraled down into realizing at certain points or certain like events that would happen with kids or with Luna, I don't want to add on to the generational trauma. And then I have a partner also who has her own trauma with her parents, and she wants to like break the stigmas and break the traumas and stuff like that. So we're very well aware. But it started with me and just like realizing how my dad moved and knowing that I didn't want to move that way. And then that just spurred into wanting to break generational trauma, realizing certain things, seeing certain her go about certain things and not responding in certain ways to not traumatize her.
Got you, got you. would how is the transition um from blending yourself into that family structure that existed prior to you? How did
Uh,
Luna respond to you at first? Like, who
uh,
are you? You're not my daddy.
exactly. Like any fucking child that I mean, one of the first things I always remember is Luna telling me, I don't have to listen to you because you're not my dad.
Damn right.
Yeah. So, but in time, one of the big things was her seeing how much I loved her mother.
Mm,
I'm not 100% sure about like how she saw like the dynamic between her biological father and her mom, but seeing that made her more accepting to like me being around. She's a smart kid, so she also understands like love and relationship and happiness between like two adults in a relationship. So that happened like with her like feeling like she doesn't have to listen, but with her mom basically telling her like, you know, you got to chill the fuck out. And also me being around showing her love and stuff like that, she's like come around. But I think it's an adjustment because it's like a change. It's like somebody else loves my mom that's like
yes,
not my.
but what was your approach to Luna? Did you automatically answer and be like, I'm gonna be the male figure. I'm gonna be the
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
authoritarian.
Yeah, I did. Like it's when I first met Mila, like the very first week I met her, I was like she was moving into her apartment, so I was like getting stuff for her, getting stuff for Luna. I bought that first week, like after I knew Mila, I bought like Christmas gifts, like or Christmas gift for like Luna. So it's like I already felt an attachment automatically, but it's also because I felt an attachment automatically to Mila.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, me and Mila always being on the same page with like raising a child or like what we want like our child to like have as far as like the good traits and like no trauma, lack of trauma and stuff like that. It's been a great dynamic.
What were your missteps
In
integrating yourself within that family
step,
structure?
you know how
I'm
perfect.
sure it wasn't all smooth. What
It's
were your missteps?
um my missteps are I guess not taking two things, being patient and not taking things personal from a child.
There you go.
I've realized that children children are very present. And I was telling this somebody I was telling this to somebody recently, and they were talking about how they had to take a moment to like they had gained some level of success, and they had to take a moment to like be present in the moment and like really take it all in. And I was telling that recently I realized that children are very present because they're not held by history. Like everything is fresh and new for them, so they're very like in the moment about what's happening right then and right now. So if you do something and for them and you make them happy, they love you. If you do something, if you discipline them or give boundaries, like they don't love you anymore, but it's because they don't have a history to hold on to of love with you. Or they just don't have a long history and long amount of memories, so their children are very present. Something happens right then and now, they're happy then and now. Something happens right then and now, they're sad right there and now. Whereas as an adult, you are living in the present, but you're held or you're chokehold by like your memories
Yeah.
or your ambitions in the future where you want
Hmm.
to. So it's very hard to just stop your thought about the past and the future and be like in the right now. And I'm realizing that children are very much so in the right now, whereas an adult, when a child does something that's frustrating, I'm thinking about like when I was a child and I frustrated an adult, or like different things like this has happened to me and it's been frustrating to me. So it's just a different way of thinking about it, but just being realizing that children are very present and not very like not so much like intentional with what they're saying or doing, and just being like more patient.
Okay. In what ways did Mila help you with the transition in entering this family structure? What
Um,
what were the conversations? What were the boundaries? What were the guidelines? How did she get to a point where she could trust you to the point where you could be around and be living with them and be responsible for Luna? What was that journey like?
I don't think I can say off the top of my head, Mila actually doing something. I think the one thing she does pretty well is like uh group activities or like family type activities. Like
There you go.
she likes to do stuff with Luna already, but now that I'm here, it's like an incorporation of like all three of us. And anytime we can like incorporate all three of us like doing something, that's what helps.
There you go.
But before that, I wanted to like be here and do this. Even when I didn't even know I wanted it. Because one of the first things I told Mila when I first met her was I don't really do moms. I don't really do the mom thing. And now look at me, right? But one thing I showed her was like, I'm here for both of y'all. I'm not just here for you and you happen to have a child. So I'm here for both of y'all. And that made the transition for her to say, oh, I accept you into this family with me and my daughter. I want you to come and do things. I want her to look at you as like a male figure that is positive in her life. I want y'all to hang out and spend time together. So me actually,
Space where you belong and were accepted,
yeah,
where there
yeah,
were no resentment,
yeah. But I
love
wanted to
and
be there.
support.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. And I wanted to be there. I wanted to be a good parent. I wanted to show her like a good male figure that also loves and shows love to her mother. So that those me wanting to do that already made Mila incorporating me.
A lot
Easy.
easier.
Yeah.
Okay. How did all of that nurturing, right? Going back to nature versus nurture, how did all of this nurturing in this new family structure, this secular family, where one, you're healing yourself by doing all of the things that you've always wanted,
Mhm.
two, you're partaking in all of the activities that creates that familial support, love, and affection. How did all of that positively impact your feelings of depression?
Um,
And you also were no longer in isolation. You weren't living alone no more.
yeah. Um, that's a good question because I don't think it necessarily impacted it, and that's the good thing. Because I was busy, I'm busy being a dad, because I'm busy being a partner, because I'm like doing all of these things that are feeling fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like I was weeding myself out of like being depressed anyway from the work myself and not even having to think about it or not having my mind being occupied with like depressive thoughts helped me out of it. So it's not like a one-to-one where like, oh, I did this and it helped me with depression, but me doing this made me not even think about like depressive thoughts or feeling sad or anything like that, because I'm constantly doing things that's like fulfilling, and like I'm having making a child happy, and it's like that's joyous. And
And then
I'm
making you happy as well.
yeah, I'm recanting positive memories, which is now changing my mental state with multiple things. So um all these things are positive, and it's even when like negative things like come up that'll make me still feel positive about like this space that I'm in. So like one time more so recently, like Mila had asked me, Luna's father wanted to come pick her up, and Mila asked me like, should we just leave her, keep her here, or like should we let him pick her up? And I was like, we should let him pick her up. And she goes, um well, you shouldn't, like, not that I shouldn't be excited, but like him coming to pick her up doesn't mean like, you're less, you should be less of a stepdad, or like, you should want her around so you could be like stepdad of the year and stuff like that. And I was just like, I'm not gonna be a stepdad so somebody else could be not a father at the moment. Like that's not how it like works for me right now. And on top of that, she's like, but don't you want like Luna to love you and stuff like that? And I was like, this is not like a immediate game. Like I'm playing the long game with this. I don't need Mila to love me right now. When at like 14 years old, we'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
So, but that's just like one, like a few things is like still an adjustment. Is um when to step in and be there, and when to like put a boundary on, like, no, in order for me to be 100% stepdad or 100% dad or 100% father, I also need a break, because it makes no sense for
Kids are
me.
tiring. You
Yeah.
say it.
Exactly, kids are
Kids are a
not
lot.
right. So I can't sit here and
I'm
be,
projecting right now. My fault.
yeah, take it. Do you want a moment? Let's talk about your
I'm good. I'm good.
but a big thing for me is like taking breaks, because I'd rather be away for a little bit at a time so I could be 100% for you than be there all the time at 50 to 70%.
There you go.
Yeah.
What precautions or what discipline have you invoked to ensure that you're not sabotaging this healthy dynamic that currently exists in your life? Because that's not something you're used to.
Yeah. Yeah. I second think a lot. um that initial reaction, and even if like I'm still upset by my second thought, like I do the second thought, my reaction isn't probably going to be as assertive or aggressive, or, and that doesn't even mean like I'm gonna yell, just like my body language or anything like that. It's not going to be as aggressive as if I just reacted initially. And so like when I'm in my own space and I'm only thinking for myself, I can just react, or sometimes I'll second I'll give it a second thought, but I could just initially react because it's just me and it's only affected me. But now when I know it's going to affect my partner, it's going to affect my child in a certain way, I have to take a breath, look, think again, and then give a response. So in a way, so I don't if I don't like fuck everything up, I just take a second and just like think about like my reaction. And then sometimes I react a certain way because I may feel like, this is a necessary reaction, I need to be stern in this moment. And then sometimes I just be like, I need to eat that and just like be a little bit more loving, or maybe just bring it up another time. So like, but these all come with a second thought than just initially reacting, and so I don't sabotage my shit.
Do you believe that you deserve this? These moments that you're having now, this joy that you're experiencing, the comfort, the security. Have you
I
realized that you deserve this?
Yes, but that is under the umbrella of feeling like everybody deserves me, because I come with a positive intention. So yeah, I deserve to be in this happy space, because this happy space also deserves me, because I'm gonna make this happy space or not so happy space even better. So I do feel like, yes, I do feel that way, but if I am being honest, it's under the umbrella of feeling like y'all deserve me also.
I like that. I like that answer.
Mhm.
Because life is not just happening to you. You play a direct role into creating this.
Yeah.
You didn't stumble into this family structure. To some degree, you helped build it to be what it is today.
Yeah.
Happy for you, man.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean there are still like challenges and things like that, and
Of
frustrating
course.
them.
That's life.
Yeah.
That's parenting. That's being a partner.
Yeah, and exactly, and that's being a partner. It's a partner that's had like that's had a child with like somebody else. There's just
Yeah.
there's just things that I'm finding that it's like, it's not that big of a deal, and then there's things I have to put my foot down. Like one of the at one moment, Mila did something for like her baby dad, and I was just like, you didn't. I told her, I was like, you didn't have to do that. One of the things she was saying was that, oh, maybe if I help him, it'll be better for Luna. I was like, never at any point should you feel like you have to do something for somebody else to do something so that it can propel them to do something for their child.
In theory, yes, but in practice, moms deal with a lot of guilt.
And no, I'm learning.
Yeah, especially when the family structure is not present and the father is not involved. And society also blame them for that aspect, right? If we're being honest, we can recall an interview that Good Moms did in which they were being typecasted for being single moms.
Yeah.
right? As if they were the reason why this didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right. So they deal with that guilt from an individual standpoint, a family standpoint, and a societal standpoint. So a lot of times you might see these accommodations being made in hopes that it's gonna foster a better relationship with the parent and said child.
I'm learning.
This is gonna be hard to navigate, but open communication and also your presence there will also assist in that. One step at a time, King.
One step at a time.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah. I'm playing the long game though, so it's like, okay.
But
Right.
I understand. I may not agree, but I understand.
Yeah. So, but it's been cool. Going from all I can feel like I could do is just like sit with my inner self to changing these memories that I've had, and actually feeling like, oh, here is a way that I could finally go down this path of like bettering myself and this inner child, and like talking and speaking to my inner child and making myself feel better about my past. And now that I'm finally having these like moments, it's refreshing. Yeah. Oh, by the way, my mom called me.
See, what's interesting, I was just about to make a statement about that, right? I look forward to the point where you will attempt to reconnect and heal to some degree. Not even heal, maybe ameliorate that relationship. Is ameliorate an English word? Because that's a French word.
What's the definition?
Ameliorate is not fix, but make better, make improve.
Yeah, this word that I just can't remember right now. I gotta get my English back.
How was that conversation with moms?
I don't answer my mom. I don't speak to my mom.
Biological mom, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. My biological mom called me. Not my mom.
And you didn't answer?
Yeah, no. The best I've found that the healthiest way for me to go about that relationship is to cut ties.
Yeah, that's fair. Clear boundaries.
Clear boundaries.
You know what works for you. And it's also okay to protect what you have built.
Exactly. Like I cannot expect everybody in my life to take to me or to be there for me. And that goes for people that should be some of the closest people to you.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel. And I know it's harder for other people to like break that bond. But I guess it's easier for me because I never really felt the strength of that bond anyway.
Yeah. Shows on your mom through title, not through actions and behaviors and attachment.
Yeah, but you really got to fuck up as a mom for like your kids. As a mom, like as a dad, but as a mom, how bad you got to fuck up,
right? That is a great point. It's not a level playing field.
Yeah. There's two people that realize how bad moms could fuck up, and that's children and what's that? Court. If you're a mother that's like, we'd rather give it to your child to the father, it's just like, what did you do? No, I'm just joking. I'm not coming at moms.
but does a part of you wonder what is her story? What led to this inability to parent or to be a mom? What's her trauma?
That that actually crossed my mind a few times since our last talk, because I forgot where I saw it, but there are people that like have their parents in their life and they're at this age right now where they can feel comfortable talking to their parent and realizing like, who were you before you became my mom?
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's an interesting convo.
It really is like finding out who people were before like they got to like this point in their life. And I feel like that's kind of like with me, that transition happened, or that change happened when I was telling you like I started like blacking out like my past. So and that was like a big change for me. And I know like once you have a child, that's like a life changing experience. Like you have your life before and after a child. And for me, it was like I had my life before and after. Like I decided to like black out my childhood. Well, not decided, but like it happened because I wanted to like have a better experience, like better memories. So yeah, just I've been thinking about like what a conversation or about what hearing like the life before me were from my parents. But like there's there's so much to overcome before I can even care to know about your past. And overcoming that part is what's going to be challenging before I can even ask my parents about them or even caring enough to ask.
Good point. Then the question would be, how much time do we really have?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we never know.
We'll never know, but also I don't really care. It doesn't bother me to the point where it's like it's itching at me and I want to know and I have to go find out and I'm gonna make the steps to better
Right, so
myself, to better our relationship, to then know about you. It's just like, are you one? And then it comes to the point, it's like, are you gonna be honest about it, or are you just gonna tell a one-sided tale because you can't you can't grasp what you've been through, or you can't be honest about it, or your wrongs.
or is it that they're just going to share their version of it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
Like
and and their version may not be the absolute truth, but that's the truth for them, right?
exactly.
But hearing from their different perspectives and things like this will help you. I'm big into going back and having these conversations because it creates understanding and compassion.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps you kind of understand the puzzle better, right? Because we have these set expectations of what a mother should be. But how do we know they ever wanted to be a mother? How do we know in what circumstances led them to being a mom? What support was provided or not provided to them, right? What struggles and what trauma were they experiencing themselves? Because at the end of the day, they're human too, right?
Mm-hmm.
But whenever you're ready, doesn't have to be now. But I look forward to that step.
Yeah, I'm saying.
All right, all right, brother. Any questions or comment?
No, I feel like I talked away the hour.
Okay. Homework.
Uh-huh.
I need you to go outside and play some basketball.
Outside it's dangerous out there in this economy.
It doesn't have to be today, but at some point I need you to go outside and move your body.
Yeah, does hiking count?
Oh, definitely. I love hiking.
Well, that's easy. We hike all the time. We drop the child off and then we go hiking. Me and Mila.
Okay. When
But
was
hmm?
go ahead.
I was gonna say, but I've been doing the workout. I've been working out again. Just got to be more consistent, but it's only because of like launching this like project. I started a podcast with my
Oh,
therapist.
you did?
It's great.
How is that going?
It's only been day two,
Yeah.
day 2 or 3. But that I want to talk about in another sitting because that's actually like that actually in a good way. It's actually like a deep breath. But yeah, I've been working out. I've been staying active, and it's been feeling good. So
One
yeah.
last question.
Mhm.
Have you celebrated yourself? You just launched a podcast. Did you take the time out to celebrate? Were you present like a child?
I
The
I
answer.
have not. I mean, I've been congratulated. Shout out to Erica. Erica on Good Moms. She actually gave me a call and like told me like she was happy and things like that.
You have a
And
lot of people that want to see you win, huh?
Yeah. I gave it that much, but I haven't celebrated because like I've been at this point before of the start. So it's just like it's more like a fist bump than like a whole celebration. It's like a all right, got it done. I know what I did to get it started, and I know what it can be, or I know like how I've set it up. So going forward, it's gonna be easy to do. But there's just a certain point that I want to get to before I could be like, oh yeah, celebration time.
No, sir.
But I know I need to be more aggressive.
Thank you. So, your homework for this week is you're going to celebrate, whatever that looks like to you. You're going to take some time out and you're going to celebrate the launch of your new podcast.
Lit shots and drugs. Let's go.
As long as it's done in a healthy, contained manner, I have no issues with that.
Yeah, I'll do it this weekend. I'll
All
plan
right.
something.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
See you at the next session.